Hi guys, welcome to Titostutor, your math pedagogue. On today's video, we're going to be learning about simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations are also known as system of equations, where you have two equations that are related to each other. They have two variables. You're supposed to solve the two equations together and find the value of the two variables. To solve simultaneous equation, we have three different methods of solving simultaneous equation. The first one is substitution method. The second one, elimination method. And the third one is graphical method. And it's important you learn how to do these three methods, because sometimes the question will actually specify which method they want you to use. So if you don't know the three of them, it's going to be very hard for you to answer such questions. But in this video, we're going to be paying attention to substitution method. But in the subsequent videos, I'm going to be talking about elimination method and graphical method. But in this video, we are paying attention to substitution method only. Okay, so now I have broken down solving simultaneous equation by substitution into three simple steps, so you can understand how to solve simultaneous equation using the substitution method. The first thing you do is take one of the equations and choose the variable. You know, in that equation, there are two variables. For example, there could be x and y. You decide which one you want to make the subject of the formula. So you make that one the subject of the formula. For example, if I want x to be the subject of the formula, I go to any of the equation, make x the subject of the formula, is standing on its own, and every other thing on the other side of the equal sign. Then I have made one of the variable the subject of the formula. After that, I go to the next step. Step number 2 is to substitute whatever expression you got for making that particular variable the subject of the formula. You substitute it in the other equation. So for example, if I made the first equation, if my subject of the formula was made from the first equation, I can't substitute back into that equation. No, it's mathematically incorrect to do that. So you substitute in the second equation. And if you made one of the variables the subject of the formula in the second equation, then you substitute the expression in the first equation. So that's how it works, right? Okay, then after doing that, you go to the third step. The third step is to substitute the resulting value, into the other equation to solve for the second variable. So by substituting into the other equation, you would have gotten, let's say, the value of x. Then when you're done getting the value of x, you go into any of the equations and substitute the value of x to find the value of y. Three steps. First, make any of the variable subject of the formula. Then go to the other equation, substitute to find y, for instance. Then once y is found, you can now choose any of the equations, substitute y into that equation, and x comes out. So that's how it works. Okay, so this is our first example, and it says solve the linear system by substitution method. My first equation is y minus x is equal to -1. The second one is y plus 2x is equal to 5. So I can actually say this is my first equation and this is my second equation. So remember, our first step is to make any of the variable, either x or y, the subject of the formula in any of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2. Me, I decide to use equation 1, and I'm going to make y the subject of the formula. So let's go. Y minus x is equal to -1. That's my first equation. I take this to the other side, it becomes plus x. So y is equal to -1 plus x. Remember that I made y stand on its own in equation 1. So I can't substitute it back into equation 1. That's mathematically incorrect, right? So I'm going to substitute y is equal to -1 plus x in equation 2. That's what I would do. Okay, so you can write that down. Substitute y is equal to -1 plus x in equation 2. So I'm going to write equation 2, which says y plus 2x is equal to 5. So anywhere I see y, I'm going to put -1 plus x, then write the remaining terms down. Okay, so this is plus 2x is equal to 5. So now can you see I have only x in my equation, so I can actually find the value of x now. So these two are like terms. X plus 2x is 3x is equal to 5. Can you see this one is going to come and join 5, because 5 and -1 are like terms, but because it is crossing an equal sign, it changes from -1 to +1, right? So here we have 3x is equal to 6. Okay, so I can now divide all through by 3 so that x stands on its own. So I have x is equal to, because this 3 cancels the other 3, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So x is equal to 2. Now I have found one of the variable. I can actually go back and substitute x equal to 2 in any of these equations. Any. Let's choose equation 2 this time around. So I'm going to come back and write equation 2, put in 2 as x, and solve for y. Okay, so here's my equation 2. It says y plus 2x is equal to 5. Anywhere I see x, I put 2. So it's multiplying 2 plus y is equal to 5. All right, so I have y plus 2 times 2 is 4 is equal to 5. I can now solve for y. So I'm moving 4 to the other side. It becomes a -4. Okay, so y is equal to 5 minus 4, which is 1. So my y is equal to 1. Can you see? I have solved for x and I've solved for y as well. So final answer. Therefore, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1. And I'm done. See, you can actually check if your answer is correct or not. How do you do that? You choose any of the equations again, put in x as 2, put in y as 1, and check if you get your answers. Let's look at this. This was our second equation. This one, equation 2. So I'm going to put 1 here and put 2 here. Okay, 1 plus 2 times 2 is 4. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So I know that my answer is correct. So this is how to solve simultaneous equation using the substitution method. If you're still watching till now, I want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for sticking by. Don't forget to watch this video to the end. Like, subscribe, and share with anyone you think will need it. Okay, let's do one more example on solving simultaneous equation using substitution method, so that we get ourselves really familiar with how to solve simultaneous equation using substitution method. Example 2. Solve these simultaneous equations using substitution method. As you can see, it's specified. And the first equation is x plus 7y equals to 64. The second one is x plus 3y is equal to 28. What I have done is label my first equation as equation 1, label my second equation as equation 2. Then I am going to make x stand on its own from equation 1. Okay, so my equation 1 is x plus 7y equals to 64. 7y is going to move to the other side of the equation and become negative 7y because it is crossing an equal sign. Okay, so x is equal to 64 minus 7y. Now x is standing on its own. I have made it the subject of the formula. So what I'm going to do next is substitute x as 64 minus 7y in equation 2. I cannot substitute it back into equation 1 because I made it the subject of the formula from equation 1. So it is mathematically wrong to substitute it back into equation 1. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say substitute x is equal to 64 minus 7y in equation 2. I'm substituting it in equation 2. Okay, so my equation 2 is x plus 3y is equal to 28. So anywhere I see x, I'm going to put 64 minus 7y. So I'm going to rewrite that equation 2 with 64 minus 7y as x. So let's go. 64 minus 7y plus 3y is equal to 28. Okay, so now I can now simplify the like terms. So I have 64 minus 7y plus 3y is minus 4y is equal to 28. Okay, 64 minus 4y is equal to 28. Okay, so now you can see 64 minus 4y. My unknown is y and it has a negative. So I'm going to move it to the other side so it becomes positive. Bring this to this side, it becomes negative. That way, my unknown isn't negative. I just feel comfortable doing that. But you can leave it and divide through by -1. When you're done, you still get the same answer. Okay, so I have 64 minus 28 is equal to 4y. Okay, now 64 minus 28 is 36. 36 equal to 4y. So I can divide both sides by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And this 4 cancels this 4. I'm left with y. So my y is equal to 9. My y is equal to 9. If you're still watching till now, I want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for sticking by. And don't forget to subscribe, like my video, watch to the end, and share with anyone you think may need it. All right, so let's go to example 2. Let's solve one more example using substitution method to solve simultaneous equations, so we can get ourselves familiar with how to use substitution method to solve simultaneous equation. Example 2 says, solve these simultaneous equations using substitution method. As you can see, it's specified. Okay, the first equation is x plus 7y equals to 64. I'm going to label that equation 1. The second one says x plus 3y is equal to 28. I'll label that equation 2. Now I have my two equations. First step is to make one of the variable the subject of the formula in any of the two equations. I choose equation 1 and I'm going to make x the subject of the formula. So let me write that equation again. X plus 7y is equal to 64. I want x to stand on its own, so y goes to the other side. Plus 7y turns into negative 7y because it crosses an equal sign. Okay, so x is on its own and I have 64 minus 7y. I can label this equation 3 if I choose to. Okay, so I have an expression for x which I can substitute into equation 2. I made x the subject of the formula from equation 1, so I cannot substitute it back into equation 1. That will be mathematically incorrect. So I'm going to substitute this into equation 2. Okay, so substitute x is equal to 64 minus 7y in equation 2. Okay, I'm going to write that equation again, which is x plus 3y is equal to 28. Anywhere I see x, I'm going to put 64 minus 7y plus 3y is equal to 28. Now, as you can see, I have only y as my variable, so I can solve for y. Minus 7y plus 3y is minus 4y. The 64 is equal to 28. Anytime I'm solving algebra and my unknown has a negative sign attached to it, I get uneasy, so I just take it to the other side. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'll take my negative 4y to the other side. It becomes positive 4y. I take my 28 to the other side. It becomes negative 28. Okay, so this is what I have. 64 minus 28 is equal to 4y. 64 minus 28 is 36. 36 is equal to 4y. I'm going to divide this by 4 and divide this by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And this 4 cancels this 4. So I'm left with y. Can you see? I have my y as 9. So I can actually substitute y as 9 in equation 3. Because in equation 3, x is already standing on its own in equation 3. So I'm going to write that equation 3 again and substitute for y so I can get my x value. So this is x plus, x equal to 64 minus 7y. This is my equation 3. So anywhere I see y, I'm going to put 9. So x is equal to 64, 7 multiplied by 9 is 63. So I have x is equal to 1. I have solved for both x and y. Therefore, x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 9. I am done. This is how to solve your simultaneous equation using substitution method. If you have learned anything from this video, I want you to please subscribe because that helps me a lot. Like this video and share with anyone that needs it. Thank you for watching.